Today, we're going to talk to a woman who came here from Iraq to pursue the American dream. She accomplished that, becoming a successful engineer focusing on systems integrations engineering. In this role, she mentored and empowered women, but after she turned 50, she decided she wanted to do even more to help women in midlife pivot to realize their full potential at a time when society doesn't exactly roll out the red carpet for reinvention. She became a business coach who specializes in what she calls midlife rebirth, where her clients learn how to unlock their unique skill set and pursue something new. Sairan Aqwari, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for having me.
I'm so glad to have you here. And, one of the things I ask people to do for the show is to write something to give me a little bit of an idea about who they are and what they're working on. And I absolutely love what you wrote. So if you'll give me a second or two, I'm going to read something from that because I feel like what you wrote is exactly what we address on this show. Quote, I reached a point where I felt like something was missing. I was navigating feelings of stagnation, questioning whether I was truly living up to my full potential. It was daunting to imagine reinventing myself at a stage in life when many believe it's too late. Another challenge I faced was balancing the expectations placed on me as a professional mentor and leader while still trying to honor my personal dreams. The fear of failure, self-doubt, and even societal pressure to, quote, stay in my lane felt overwhelming at times. But those moments of uncertainty became the turning point for me. I realized that midlife isn't the end of something. It's a second chance to grow, pivot, and create a life aligned with my passions. I took bold steps to discover my hidden talents and monetize them, which led me to build my coaching business. Now I guide women through similar transitions, empowering them to turn their obstacles into stepping stones for success. This journey taught me the power of resilience, clarity, and taking action, no matter how intimidating it feels. And it's proof that it's never too late to rewrite your story. So I absolutely love everything you said there. So we're going to get into your story in a minute, your background, but tell me how you got so much clarity about this transition, because for a lot of women, it feels overwhelming, right? To believe that after a certain age that you still have something to offer.
That's true, Amanda, and it's never an easy overnight clarity revolution happening to me or to any other woman because we have so many options around us. We have so many noise and paths and society telling us, okay, you're 50, you are done. And the whole universe telling you, if you stop delivering baby, you are not planning to have another baby. That's mean life is good. Pick up your paycheck, pay the bills, take vacation twice in the year. That's it. I don't call this a life. I call that a boring routine. For me, following the whole, entire group for just making a living and having a good job and making sure that my bills pay, there is no innovation. I stop creating. And when human beings stop creating, we are literally dead because our soul die, our soul sleep. And this is why I call, when I tell midlife women, find your core genius, because I feel like those hidden gem is inside you. You have it. Amanda, everybody have it. I have women coming to me challenging me. I don't have any gift. You talk about gift. We never liked anything when we were teen age. We never liked anything in our 20. We never write a book or read a book or paint or that's fine. That's what you think. But you came to this life, he keeps shuffling away what is really was inside you. You have that gem. It's just being muted for some reason. In my case, maybe got muted because I got married. I have two kids, one after another. I went back and got my master's degree. Then I start my doctoral degree. Then I freeze my doctoral. I start doing a side business. For you, the same. Life taking us away in a journey. We pick up tasks, but that doesn't mean our core genius died. It's still there. We still have that hidden gem. We just need to rebirth it, bring it to the surface, celebrate it. So for me, midlife crisis does not exist. Midlife priceless with prize, with a trophy in your hand, because 50 should be your new start and you should not postpone it. You should not telling your story, I'm old, I'm done, life is comfortable, is the end for me. It's not the end, it's the start.
Yeah, I think that's a great attitude because, we're also living a lot longer, right? And so we have many more years to offer, whether it's in a career or one of these, side passions. I always talk about marrying your passion and your purpose. And if you love something, but it's also useful to somebody else, that's the magic, right? That's the perfect combination to rewrite your story, if you will. And I think it's really important that we silence those negative voices. So I want to talk more about this idea because, again, this is really what this podcast focuses on. But I want to talk about your story first of all, how you got to where you are today. So you are in a male-dominated field. You are an engineer. Talk about where you started, where you grew up, and your education, and what led you to the United States and to the career you're in today.
Yes. So when I came to United States, I was 26. I was in my mid 20. I had bachelor degree in civil engineering. So I started in construction, boots on the ground, doing survey, being on the field all day long. Because I was young, I was capable. I was not married yet, no kids. When I moved to United States, I was still single, but I decided to go back and do schools, and I pursued my master in system integration. And I did a couple of different aspect of engineering. I did design, small company, big company. I worked for large company like L3 Communication. We build the communication towers between the border between the United States and Mexico. And then I joined the transit. I'm still full time with the Metro Authority in DMV area. And although that I done different aspect of engineering, designing, managing, contract, surveying, all of that, I knew always inside me that I came to this life to leave an impact and make a difference. There's a purpose. I have young children. I have my daughter who just turned 21 and my son is 23. And if I want to really leave something that remember their mom in a good way, I have to be a role model. And being a team lead at work is the same way being a good parent. I cannot convince my kids to be good, uh, you know, citizen and adding impact and value if I am not a role model for them. Same thing at work. I cannot tell my team member to be an effective engineer if I am not an effective engineer. So my story had so many up and down, but I think the pivot, back to your question, what's happened between my IQ and EQ? Because my life was all focusing in my IQ, my equation, 1 plus 1. You have to be precise, you have to be concise. Don't make a mistake. 17.9 is not like 17.89. You have to be very accurate because you're designing bridges. Should not be a mistake anywhere. This is not it's a place to be flexible. Everything is number. Everything has to be correct. When I wrote my doctoral, I knew inside me that I do have that hidden gem, but I kept it kind of mute or sleep for a while because I was busy doing more demanding job, raising kids while their dad was, overseas. And I had to do more important things before I turn around and say, now what? But when I hit my 50, I knew that I only get hit 50 once and it's going to go up after that. It's going to get younger, right? So you get 50. And when you think, going back to your podcast, Ageless, when you get that 50, you ask that question to yourself that now I'm 50, it's time to really live the quality life I always been dreaming about. Meaning, when I was in my 30 and 40, getting busy, raising children, paying the bills. But now it's 50. My kids by their own, they depend on themselves, they drive car, they are in school. This is my time. And if we keep as a midlife woman, keep looking at the mirror, looking at the wrinkles and thinning hair and the body look different, we only gonna set ourselves in a not only in failure mode, we're gonna be depressed about what's change happened to us, and we're gonna go nowhere. We have to pick up ourselves again and change that narrative and telling another story to ourselves that now is a midlife. It should not be crisis. It should be priceless. It should come with prices. So like always thinking about that trophy in your hand. I'm 50, I have a trophy. How comes? I'm wise. How comes? Because I'm not repeating the same.
Right. I mean, because you bring to the table at our age, and I'm a little bit older than 50, we bring experience and we bring wisdom, right? And we're able to cut through a lot of the red tape and figure stuff out pretty quickly. And I think that's really valuable in a lot of different fields.
It
I'm
is.
really interested. So you came to the US when you were 26. Why did you come here? I mean, what was it about living here and working here that inspired you?
American dream, everybody talk about the American dream. I'm from Middle East, right? So I work for the NGOs, part of the United Nations. They brought us to United States free. So I came through a military operation called Pacific Haven. So they took us to Guam, the island, and we stayed in Guam for a couple of months. They reevaluate our situation, and everybody will move to United States according to their sponsors. And that's what I met my husband in Guam, and we dated and we got married after. So we were basically political asylum. We were not refugees. So when we arrived in the United States, we were granted the green card right away. The American dream back then to us, when before we really hit the reality, it was different because we thought when we were Middle East, we look at Rambo and you know all the Rocky movie, like the red carpet, and everybody's gonna live like J Lo. You're gonna have a boats, and you're gonna have money, and you're gonna have all brand names, clothes. That's what you see on the media, and that's what we saw in Middle East. Well, the reality, and I'm glad we hit the reality sooner when I was in my 20s because
What year was this? I don't want to interrupt you, but what year?
I arrived Guam December 1996, and I arrived to Nashville, Tennessee, March 1997.
Okay.
So this is 1997 back then, and it was a little bit different. I mean, job opportunity were much better back then. I remember I was applying for 5 jobs. All 5 jobs were calling me for interview. I was younger. I was fresh. But again, the American dream, it become evolving in different way. I knew now I have to pay bills, I have to work hard, I have to go back to school, I have to improve my English, I have to improve my communication skills, and also blend in on the culture, kind of like adopting and taking all the good value and the core value that benefiting you and dropping the stuff that might not benefit you in future. So it's not all good, it's not all bad. You just have to be selective what really involve the activity, what things that you really want to master on. Are you here just to have fun? Then great, take pictures and go back. But if you are here to really make an impact, you better to stay and work on those tasks and skills and master them. Because you don't want just come and go. You want to leave that impact. Your American dream has to tie to a bigger cause, to a bigger impact, right? Around for you and around you. Yeah.
It makes me think too that because you were able to do that, and that's not an easy thing to do, I think because you did that, that is also what is allowing you now at this point in your life to pivot because you already made this really hard transition in your 20s to a new culture, a new country, a new career. And so I think that that's, that shows kind of what you're made of, if you will, that you were able to do that and be able to transition. I think one of the things you also said in your background is in engineering, you don't have a ton of female mentors and leaders because it is a male dominated field. Is that part of the reason that you felt like you wanted to do more to empower women?
Yeah, that's true. In Middle East, actually, here is better. I mean, there is more women in the tech and STEM and engineering. I remember in college, we were like 35 students. I think we were only 3 girls in the class. There were so very many members of women want to be in construction, and I knew that different even when I came here because when I started working at the office corporate American, I saw all the leaders, all the vice president, all the CEO are male. In the beginning, we take it a little bit personally. When we are younger, we think because we are not giving a role, we think that male or man having a war against us. I don't look at it this way. This is not a war. This is I feel like it's a team thing. And if we keep in our mind as an engineer, and this message to all younger engineers, don't think when you are in the office, all men are against you. No one is against you. When you master your game, when you go back to school and you know your stuff and you have confidence and you improve your communication skills, you're going to force those men to take you seriously. And I'll give you an example. So I mentor women, younger girls, undergrad, in engineering school, and they asked me the question. They said when they get their first job, they still shy when they enter a conference or, like, let's say, staff meeting. They sit all the way in the back. And I asked them why. They said because they don't want to speak up. They are still shy. They feel they don't have knowledge. And at the end of the meeting, they tell me they think that all the guys are against them because they didn't allow them to speak. And I asked them, what make you think this way? They said they never ask us if you have something to say. And I always tell them, you give that image to them because, first of all, you decided to sit where the door is. You already label yourself not competent. I have no room on the table. Why they should give you that room, right? So first of all, you sell yourself lower
Sure.
your value.
Right. You're not speaking up.
I'm not speaking up. Then later on, you blaming them not giving you value. So that's not right. But if you sit on the table, even if you don't speak up, if you sit on the table, you already claim your space. You claim the table, part of the table is yours. And you put your hand on the table and you become ready. You are so ready to that meeting. If they ask you any questions, said, I can add something. But if you decided to go in the back, no one will give you the invitation to come to the table.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did a speech a couple years ago and I've transitioned more into talking about ageless, but it was called Lead Like a Girl and Watch Them Follow. And it was a picture of me, the PowerPoint, running my first and only marathon. But the idea, because there's an expression in the United States, run like a girl, meaning, we don't run as fast as men or we look funny when we run. If you choose the leadership role, people will follow you if you know what you're talking about, right? And that's the important thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of women at this age feel very, like there's not another chapter. So talk to me about how you coach women and what it is you specifically do with them to help them find that next chapter.
Very good question. So most of the women, 95% of the women who reach out to me, they are midlife. Either they never work in their life, they feel bored, they want to find something to get busy, make an impact and a value, or they want to pivot. They are in the tech, they want to be a writer. They are in the tech, they want to be a painter. Or like me, they have a full-time job, they still in love with engineering, but they have some hidden gem they want to monetize it and have a side business. So the way how I guide those women, I always start with clarity. I always ask them, are you clear where you're heading? Because without clarity, there is no power. You need that clarity, you need that direction, right? There is a strategy in everything. There is no manual to tell you go and follow 1, 2, 3, 4 and life is good, because I have to customize it according to the client. My role of coaching, it doesn't apply to all midlife women the same way. Even if you all live in the same place, same degree, same situation, your package will be different than another woman package, because she came from different
Backgrounds.
background, the way her self confidence and all of that. And I feel most of those women, when they come, they already decided. They start with me saying, I'm old.
I don't have anything. What are the biggest obstacles that they come to the table with when
I'm
they
old.
talk to you?
I'm old. They said,
So kind of negative voices.
they just say I'm old. They keep saying I'm old, I'm old. And then after 3, 4 times, I said, if you say one more time I'm old, I'm gonna refund the money and
Yeah,
don't.
and say, forget it, we're done.
Because yes, we are getting older, but the more you say you only emphasize on the number that you become 52, 53, 54. Are you expecting to go back? Of course you're going to go up another.
Yeah, you can't be younger.
You can be younger, but you can be wiser in a way, realizing your 50 should be your the most vivid color stage of your life.
Right, you're realizing you have to realize your potential and your value. And I think one thing I want to go back to before we move on that you said I think is really important is talking about where you're going. Because as an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur with a new business, you sometimes change direction, right? So you start thinking this is going to be the thing, and then you go, maybe this is the thing. I thought this was the thing. So I would imagine some of your clients change
Oh yeah,
paths on the path.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I changed my niche. I was a transition expert for 5 years. I was only coaching women with engineering background who's seeking American dream. I did it for 5 years. I changed my niche 2023 to business strategist. I'm helping other coaches to find their niche. Totally different than transition expert. 99.9 client I used to have in my old company and old platform were international women. I don't have any international client now. None, zero, because I changed that niche. I challenged myself. I wanted to prove to myself, yes, when I hit my 50, I got to do something scary. And that's my mantra for everything. I will go and seek the most scary things that really scare me to death, and I'm going to touch it because I'm not going to go back and be 30 in order to experience it. I'm already 50. I'm going to do every scary thing that I thought about before, and I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to do it next year. So actually, when I said midlife priceless, that's what the price come from. Because when you challenge yourself to scary stuff, you're going to get another prize. You're going to get another trophy. You're going to get another achievement. Because all the stuff that prevent you before when you were 30 and 40, you had lack of self-esteem because I'm too young. I'm not ready. But when you hit your 50, you said, I'm ready for everything. I'm going to do speaking. I'm going to write book. I'm going to meet leaders. I'm going to attend conferences. Everything that I dream about in my 30 and 40 that scare me to death, I'm going to do it in my 50. This is why I feel it's priceless. It's keep bringing prizes and trophy.
Right. I mean, as long as you're curious, is what I often say, and you're learning, then whatever you're doing has value. If something isn't giving you that, if somebody asks you to do something and you're like, wait a minute, what am I going to learn from this? What is going to come out of this? And sometimes you don't always know, right? Sometimes you go to something thinking, I'm not sure about this. And it turns out you meet somebody and it's a great connection. One of the things I thought was interesting about what you wrote too is that you're helping women to monetize because I think that's the biggest stumbling block. We all have these passion projects. This is a passion project for me. It's really hard to monetize things. So how do you help women do that?
Yeah, the competition is very high. This is such a saturated field of people doing business, monetized business through online, and not going to the office and doing things on apps and using ChatGPT and AI. So it's not just you and me; it's very crowded, right? If you put a zip code now near your house or my house, there's a million of coaches and mentors and leaders. The key here is how you differentiate yourself. What is that one thing you really, really doing it well? Like a black belt on it, like you really have a black belt. That's what differentiates you from the other woman who's sitting beside you on the conferences. You both might be called business strategists. You both are 50. You both have the same degree. But when it's come to podcast, the way how you present as a host for your podcast is different than her. That's what differentiates you. So you look for that uniqueness. You ignore whether there's a gap or short in anything. You only focus on what is that uh, skills that you really master and that you gain the black belt on it and you monetize that. And I'll give you an example. You said we keep changing, we pivot our path. We Let's say you decided to only doing a podcast, but all by a sudden you see you writing a book, then you love it. You're going to write the second book, you're going to write a third book, and when after 5 years said, you know what, I'm just going to write books, right? But you didn't start that way. You start only hosting a podcast. Same thing with coaches. When you coach, you might end up monetizing your service in speaking. So when you coach one to one, you have one client speaking, right? But if you go to a big platform and a stage and you speak with 600 women, 1,000 women, those might all eventually become your client. So your speaking monetize speaking platform times 10, 150.
Might end up being the path, right?
It's going to be bad. And you're going to love it so much. You're going to say, you know what? I feel that one to one, it's so much exhausting to me and then my client. I'm just going to do speaking. And I
Right.
feel like this is how it started with me. I never wanted to be a speaker. Now I'm a full time speaker at Speaker Hub. I didn't want to speak, but because when they asked me at the university to mentor younger girls from engineering school, they were undergrad, they just want me to speak about how is real life for engineering when they graduate. I was just mentoring as like a mother, like I'm speaking.
Sure, sure.
When the head of the department of the women in engineering came back, she said, the girls really loved you. They think you are a coach. Like what she's talking about. And I find out that, you know what? If I am able to have a compelling message and people captivate to the line that I'm saying, why not do speaking? But I was not a speaker in the beginning. I was a
Yeah. I think that's interesting because I'm doing a lot of speaking now too.
yeah.
And I love the podcast, but speaking is something I also love. I was a TV reporter for 35 years, so I'm really comfortable speaking, and I like the reaction of a live audience, and that really inspires me.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that on you. You're kind of reading the whole. You're reading the guest also.
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
trying. That's
really.
kind of what I did for a very long time.
Yes.
So one question I have is, are the norms changing, the cultural norms about women in midlife changing? Do you see that developing? Do you think that we won't even be having this conversation in 20 years because midlife women will be rocking it and there won't be any questions?
We are rocking it now. We just don't give it enough value. We want it perfect. It's much bigger now. It's much more value when I came. Um, there is age stigma or age fear everywhere, not just in the United States, even in Middle East. Oh, you're 45, then no more babies, right? They always related that your ability not to have baby anymore. Make it sounds like that's the only purpose for you in life. I feel like within 10 years, midlife women will roll and lead every entrepreneurship and every aspect of business and task because you come with a wealth of knowledge and experience. And the biggest things you bring on, it's your confidence and not seeking validation. When I was a younger engineer in my 30 and 40, I always thought I have to satisfy everyone. I have to be perfect in everything. I have to answer every question. When you hit your 50, you get close to your midlife, you realize that if you master one skill and you be so good at it, everybody will come towards you because she's the only one who can solve that problem. But when you are younger, you are all over the place. You're trying, you're seeking validation. Oh God, my God, let me make this one like me. Make me this place like me. Let me be nice. We always become nice, 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 and we lose our soul and our value. Nothing wrong with being kind with human being, but don't be nice all the way and losing yourself. Because you turn around and what's happened? I'm 50. I haven't proved anything to myself. Yes, I got clapped, people cheering for me. I had followers. People like what I'm writing. People like what I'm saying. How about me when I look at the mirror? Do I really like what I'm seeing? Do I really value what I'm seeing? So we need to be midlife women need to be nicer to themselves. Don't
Right. Right. More kinder to what we see in the mirror in every way, not seeing the negatives, but seeing the positives.
think everything. I mean, congratulate yourself at the end of the day that you make someone at the grocery store smile. You give a joke, you say hi, you smile to a stranger. These sort of simple acts make a huge difference. But when we are younger women, we think a fancy title in LinkedIn, a big paycheck, that's called success. That's not a success. Success, you make a difference. Success, you make a difference in one person's life, even if the whole entire 2025 you made a change in one person's life, you are a successful entrepreneur. You don't have to have those crazy Instagram, like big event and people clapping. And you need to make it. If you change one person, you change 100 people because you make that small change. And people will see it. When you are lack of competent, when you lack of confidence, when you enter that room and you open your mouth, like Les Brown always said, when you open your mouth, you're telling the whole world who you are. It's true, because you when you are in your midlife and you hit your 50 with wisdom, you enter that room, you will obligate every person in that room to take you seriously, because they can sense it, they can see the level of confidence, they can see that energy, they see that charisma. When you enter that room, you are not seeking validation. She got it. That lady, don't even mess with her. You know what she's talking about.
You know, my friends and I talk about this all the time, how you get to an age of just not caring what people think. And it doesn't mean that you don't care about other people, because you do, but you just know who you are.
Yeah.
And you know what? Today at the grocery store, I might not have makeup on and I might be in sweatpants, and that's just who I am today. I really love your message, and I think you're benefiting a lot of people, not just one person at a time. Can you tell people how to follow you? And I will make sure I put all of your links in the show notes. But if people want to know what you're doing and follow you.
Yes, thank you very much. For your audience, whoever mentioned your podcast or your name, they can get 30 minutes complimentary call with me around their platform in LinkedIn if they want to, stand out in their LinkedIn page, or they seek promotion, or they want to pivot in their career. They can reach me at LinkedIn, Sairan Aqwari. Or if they want to have a side business and they have the clarity and knowing what they want in their business, they can actually reach out also to me. 30 minutes complimentary call also with clarity, strategy call in my Instagram, Sairan Aqwari, and I will be more than happy to guide them.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your time with my audience today. It's been really wonderful to hear about what you're working on.
Thank you so much, Melinda. Thank you for having me.